Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book This Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. So a little bit about the book. The book follows two gangs in Shanghai in 1926, and these two gangs have heirs. One is called Juliet and the other one's called Roma, which obviously, as you can tell, this is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. Now, Roma, he's Russian and he descends from this family of refugees that ran away during the Bolshevik Revolution. So his full name is Roma Montagov. And then Juliet is the heiress of the throne to the Shanghainese Scarlet Gang. This gang came to be because of all the foreign influence in Shanghai. In the story, they had a previous relationship when they were 14, 15-year-olds, but then that kind of went south, and then the story picks up 5 years after. Right after Juliet comes back from New York, and then in the story, they portray Juliet as this type of person that kind of doesn't fit here, doesn't fit there, because of the many influences from the Western culture and the East culture that she has had throughout her life growing up. And then the main plot of the book is that there's this plague/monster that is terrorizing the people in Shanghai, specifically the merchants and the gangsters. Obviously, this is not good for business, and then both heirs try to find out what is going on, who's killing their gangsters, who's killing their family, and then at the end they have to work together. So it kind of gives into this love-hate relationship because of their past, and also because they have to work together for the common good of both of their gangs. Okay, now we can get into the juicy stuff. The things that I loved about this one was the mafia trope, kind of taken into the next level. Because it wasn't the typical oh, we're from different mafias or whatever, or there's one mafia dude that just awkwardly aggressively pursues a girl. This was more of a team up / rivalry, and I kind of love that the plot was taken to a different level instead of your stereotypical mafia trope. The character depth was okay. It wasn't the most depth I've seen character development, but it was also just good enough to the point that we know their motivations, their backgrounds, what annoys them, what doesn't annoy them, and kind of their personalities a little bit. And even though the plot is recycled from Romeo and Juliet, I kind of found it refreshing because it was this kind of twist in it, and also the fact that it was in Shanghai instead of another city like New York or whatever we always see. This was a refreshing environment. And then the last thing I loved about this book was the transition between points of view. It was a smooth transition. I didn't find it so abrupt. It was a good break in between points of view. Some of them were kind of irrelevant, so that'll take 1 point away, but they were still good transitions. It wasn't super abrupt or blindsiding. Now, what I really didn't like about this book is that it was a slow burn at the beginning. It took so long for the plot to pick up. It was background after background after background after background. And I was like, when is this thing gonna, when is the action gonna come in? Another thing I didn't like is that it's a sequel. I don't think the book should be a sequel. I think they should have ended it a little bit, added a couple more pages and then ended it. But am I gonna read the sequel? Yeah, probably. Again, with the slow burn, there was a couple times I skimmed through the lines. I was like, this paragraph is way too long and is only describing a port. I don't need to know how the port smells. Another thing I kind of disliked was the lukewarmness of it. Their love-hate relationship was kind of lukewarm. We never see any explosions. We never see any action in it. Explosions between them. That's what I mean, because there is an explosion in the book, but there was no chemistry too much in it. Their romantic relationship kind of came out of nowhere for me, and I just feel like if you're gonna go with the love and enemies or enemies to lovers trope, you gotta commit to it and make it spicy, because at the end of the day we are reading this book for entertainment. The world building, I think it was okay. I wouldn't call it the most detailed world building in the world, but it wasn't also bland. So it was just there. It was good enough. It entertained me, made me feel like I was there sometimes. However, there was a lot of holes in it that I didn't understand what was going on sometimes. There was a communist party, a nationalist party. There were 7 other gangs that I was very confused about. So I just wish there had been more details on that instead of describing a port for 3 paragraphs. But anyway, the world building was okay. It felt like it wasn't the main character of the story, but it was still there. And then some similar books I've read, it would be The Shadows Between Us, which was also an okay book, and then To Kill a Kingdom, which actually I kind of really like that one, so I highly recommend that if you like these violent delights, you should check out To Kill a Kingdom, because To Kill a Kingdom actually takes the part of the lovers to enemies to a next level that I wish this book had done. For the rating, I'll give it a solid 6. I think it's a good book, it's entertaining. I wouldn't pay $10 to $12 to it. I would probably just get it on PDF format or find it at my public library, which is exactly what I did. But I definitely would read it again if I hadn't read it already. Not something I would reread, but something I did enjoy reading. Did not waste my time, just saying. Now, for the cover, because I definitely judge a book by its cover, I thought it was going to be more violent. I feel like there was some action going on in the cover that was not going on in the actual story. However, the cover is gorgeous. It has this like roses in it, and then a dagger in it, and a snake. No, a dragon, my bad. It has a dragon, a golden dragon. So it definitely gives you the vibe that the book is going to be, but the book is a little less violent than the actual name and the cover. And yeah, you can also touch it, and it kind of feels nice to the finger if I didn't have this plastic thing, because I got it from my public library, so they have those protectors things. But definitely would recommend it. A 6 out of 10. Something I would read in the summer or for fun when I don't want to read something super heavy. But yeah, that's all for today, and thank you for watching my video. If you want to see more book reviews, please like and subscribe. Goodbye!